Good morning, everyone. So it looks like everyone made it in, and we're going to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. Thank you all for introducing yourselves in the chat, and welcome back. Okay, so we're going to get started. Good morning. My name is Dewana McCreary, and I'm here on behalf of PTD Technology for today's CTEIS Fall Data Entry training. In the chat also we have Diana. Good morning, Diana. She's also here on behalf of PTD as well. And we're going to get started. On your screen, you should see the Fall Data Entry training agenda. Hopefully everyone sees that. We're just going to go through and just overview some of the points that we're going to cover in this morning's training. Thank you. Okay, so the first item that we always go over in every training is our introduction, and this is our support resources. So PTD Technology contact information and the knowledge base found on support.ctis.com. So that's what we're going to cover first. The second item we're going to cover is we're get into our fall data entry process. We're going to discuss how to verify and input your fall data entry. That includes the fall enrollment task overview. We're going to discuss how to enter and renew course information, add new staff if necessary, and assign them to courses. So we're going to discuss how to do your fall data entry course and staff information. You submit that information, the fall and course staff information, to your CPIT administrator by October 12th, and then to OCTE by October 19th. So this is the first collection that we're coming up on, and that's the information that we're going to cover as far as verifying and inputting your data. The third item is once you input your data, you need to validate and submit. So we're going to go over the processes for running the validation and then submitting to your CPIT administrator. And then we'll also demonstrate fiscal agent and CPIT admin screens within the validation. So we'll go over the validation and submission. The next item we're going to go over is we're going to overview the data review tools. When you enter your data into CTEIS, it generates reports and exports. So we're going to show where that information can be found. So as you go on through the year, we know that for fall data entry, you're just going to be entering in your course and your staff. But as you prepare for the spring enrollment collection that's due in June, you want to start reviewing your materials. So that information is available with a CTEIS login. So we're going to show where those screens are. And then the last thing is just to remind, looking ahead, your fall course and staff collection is due to your CPIT administrator, again, October 12th, and to OCTE by October 19th. So you want to get working on your fall data if you haven't done so already as soon as possible, so that you can address all issues, if any, and get your reports in. Looking ahead, expenditures training is the next section of training that we have. We do have other additional fall data entry trainings as well as new user trainings coming up this month. But the next collection is your expenditures. And if you have not signed up for training, we encourage you to do so. That training begins on October 3rd. So please make sure to register to attend a webinar. So those are the topics that we're going to cover this morning. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change from this agenda. So once what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change from this agenda, and we're going to go to our knowledge base at support.ctis.com. So just give me a second to close this out and change my screen. Okay, so this is our knowledge base, and this again is support.cetus.com. This is where we have all of our resource information, all of the information that I'm going over today. If you are new or have never seen the knowledge base, you can use these links here to link to any of the materials that we have, depending upon collection type. So enrollment, expenditures, follow-up, you can use these links. Over here on the side is all of the due dates for our upcoming collection. So as I stated, fall course and staff collection due to your CPID administrator by October 12th, 2023, and due to OCTE by October 19th, 2023. We'll go over the process of how to submit and who your process of submission, the building reporter to the fiscal agent to the CPID admin. A little bit further on, we get into our validation, but these are the dates. This is just here for your convenience. This information directly mirrors the information that we receive from OCTE. So this is just here as a additional report. I'm sorry, additional resource, so that you can use this when you're when you're on the knowledge base. So today we're going to be going to the data entry tab, and we're going to go to enrollment. And the enrollment page has all of the information pertaining to enrollment. So where we're going to be working from today is fall enrollment task, which is the tab here. And we're going to click this CTEIS Fall task presentation link. And this is the page, well, I would say the home page for the CTEIS Fall Enrollment Task. So this is all of the documentation that we're going to go over today and that we feel is useful for your fall data entry. As I stated, we always like to start with our introduction, so our support and assistance. We want you to know that CTEIS assistance is always available. The CTEIS help desk is available to answer technical questions. So if you have questions on specifically technical questions, how do I navigate CTEIS.com? How do I import student records? Those questions can be answered by the help desk, and the email as well as telephone number is there. So of a technical nature. If you have reporting policy help or questions that is in regards to policy, those are: how should I set up my classes for reporting? Am I allowed to begin the follow-up surveys early? So things that pertain to dates and submission, early submission, possibly. That information is reporting, well, not early, but late if you don't have enough time. That is policy questions and need to be directed to OCTE. And the person, the representative that you want to contact is Joan Church. Her email is available as well as her telephone number. So please reach out to Joan Church for reporting policy help. For the expenditure report, you would still, for policy questions, you would still contact Joan Church. For technical questions, you can still reach out to the CTEIS help desk. Now, for the follow-up report, this information is you're going for your policy questions, you're going to direct them to Inching E, and her email is there as well as her telephone number. But again, any technical questions, you can contact the help desk. But for the follow-up report, that is directed to Inching E. So this is just information pertaining to contacts, just in case you need additional help. Again, the CTEIS knowledge base, the support site, this is where all of the documentation is, the agenda, the reference documents that we're going to be going over in just a few minutes. All of this can be found on support.cteis.com. We record some of our training webinars as well as training modules. We do video training of some of the procedures for collection. That information can be found on the YouTube channel, but we do link it to the support site. So if you want to specifically look it up on YouTube, just enter CTEIS into the search field and you will find all of the videos that we post to our knowledge base, but you can just also use the knowledge base on support.cteis.com, and I'll show you where those videos for this collection period can be found. And then finally, the CTEIS listserv and inclusion. This is a resource for us to communicate to you. If you have not signed up for, to be added to the listserv, that is the email communication that we use to update as far as if there's system updates, newsletters, information pertaining to the CTEIS application. You need to sign up, and you can sign up by contacting Jackie Martinez, and her email is on this document. So please make a request to join the listserv. So again, this is our assistance document. All of this information can be found on the knowledge base. I'll go back to the home page where we are in the fall enrollment tab. So this was the first link here, support and assistance. We're going to briefly go over the overview of CTEIS and how the process works. So if you're new to a role that you currently have, whether it's a building reporter, a fiscal agent, or a CPIT admin, if you're new and this is one of your first collection periods, you may ask, what is CTEIS and how to use it? CTEIS is the web-based application that allows you to report your enrollment information to the state of Michigan. To access CTEIS, you do need a My Login access. So My Login for third party, you need your login and username and password. So if you have not received your login information, you need to reach out to your level 5, as well as sign up on this is a link to the My Login for third party here. And then you can get your credentials to use the actual application, but you do need My Login to access CTEIS. It states that the average building level reporter will focus on completing 3 reports throughout the year, and that's how it's broken up down here. So enrollment begins in September, and then you have your fall course collections. That's the collection that we're discussing today. That information is due in October. And then we're all working towards, or this particular data is working towards the spring collection, which includes all of your information. As I stated before, fall data is just course and staff, but your spring collection is all of your enrollments as well as credentials and work-based learning. So in the spring collection, you would submit all of that information in June. The next collection is expenditures. Expenditures begin in September, and then that report is due in November. That collection period ends in November, where you would submit. And then the last is follow-up. Follow-up begins in October and then completes in January. That's submission dates are in January. So just an overview, the primary goals and functions of CTEIS is to collect the enrollment data to determine your 61A1 and 61B fund distribution. You want to collect the data required for federal Perkins reporting. A secondary goal is to link the CTE data to information housed within the MSDS, and then monitor the effectiveness of CTE programs. So the information that you input into CTEIS is used to determine funding for your programs, and is reported to the federal government. So CTEIS is a web-based application, but you do not need to install any software or any updates. You can access CTEIS anywhere via computer or internet connection, and all of the information to be reported to the state is housed within CTEIS. So you don't need to back up files or anything. So it just gives a additional information on how you can access CTEIS. But again, everything is within the application. So we went over the overview. We're going to go over roles and access. And this is a little bit about what I was talking about, depending on what role you have. So this is just a breakdown by role. So the CPID administrator, this role is assigned and grants user access to CPID administrator tasks. So if you hear me say you submit that to your CPID administrator, this is a description of what a CPID administrator, or just a brief description of some of the many things that the CPID administrator is responsible for. Another task is the CPID options. So if you hear CPID options, that's due in May. The CPID administrator is responsible for CPID option submission. The fiscal agent, each fiscal agency appoints 2 fiscal agents, authorized officials, who manage all building level reporters within the fiscal agency. The fiscal agent authorized officials are also granted level 5 access. So they are able to give access to other roles. And that's what I was talking about as far as your My Login. If you have not received your My Login credentials, you would contact your fiscal agent, who has the access to be able to authorize that once you've signed up through the website of My Login for third party. But I'll get in that in just a minute. But this is the fiscal agent. As I stated, when you submit all of your reports, if you're a building reporter, the building reporter submits it to the fiscal agent, who then submits it to the CPID administrator. Which brings me to the next bullet, which is our building reporter. And this role allows the user to access all data entry activities related to the funding of CTE programs. That includes inserting, updating, and editing data related to classes, students, teachers, enrollments, and grades. So this is the role that would do the data collection, make sure that you would receive classes and students, or course information and student information from your CTE administrators or your teachers. Submit that information into the CTEIS application, and then submit it to your fiscal agent. So that's what a building reporter role looks like. So this is just additional information describing that role. If you have an expenditures role, everyone may not have this role, even though you're a building reporter. You have to check and make sure that your credentials allows you to input expenditure data. If you have expenditure data role, this role allows you to enter expenditure data, run the validation, and view various expenditure reports within CTEIS. So as I stated, in October, our expenditure training is coming up. So if you have expenditures role, you want to make sure that you sign up for that training. The follow-up data entry role allows you to enter the follow-up section of CTEIS and do the follow-up to complete the follow-up surveys. So in October, we have our follow-up data entry training, and this is when you will survey concentrators and completers about the CTE programs that they've taken. So you would receive a packet with all of the materials that you need to conduct these surveys, and then you would conduct the surveys and then submit the information through the application, through the CTEIS application. So again, all of that information is coming forward in our upcoming trainings. If you have not signed up, please do so for the training information. This is more of a graphical explanation of the roles. As I stated, if you look here in the center, it says building reporters. If you have these roles, you're responsible for the enrollment, the expenditures, and the follow-up. And then they would submit that information to the level 5 fiscal agent. And then the fiscal agent would submit that information to the CPID. And then the CPID would submit that information to OCTE. The terminology that you have, if you're specifically to specifically break down the geographic and building terminology, if you see OB, for instance, in some of your data as you're entering in the information, that means operating building or sending building. If you see OA, that's the operating agency. FA is the fiscal agency, and then the CPID is the Career Education Planning District. For programming purposes, if you see this is related to your courses, the CSC is the course section code, so you will see that. You have subsections, which include the segments and competencies. If the course is early middle college, you'll see EMC. If it's a regular, you'll see regular. That's under the program type. The PSN is the program serial number or the zip code within a building. You'll see that the zip code is the classification of instructional programming code. And all of that is within the career cluster. So the program is given a zip code, which is then given the PSN, the course section code. So you'll see these. This is just a breakdown for you to know what those mean if you see those here. Getting back to the access level information, again, a level 5, as I stated, a level 5 fiscal agent has the access to review reports, enter and edit data, grant level 4, well, I would say 1 through 4, access to other reporters, and then delegate roles to other reporters. So your level 5 fiscal agent is who you want to contact if you are having trouble as far as your access, or if you're questioning any access that you have, that's who you want to reach out to. And then it states the level 4. The level 4, what a level 4 access would grant is reviewing reports, entering and editing data, view economically disadvantaged students, the level 3, the level 2, and then the level 1. So this is just a breakdown of all of the levels. And then CTEIS building reporters are granted access to individual buildings by the building's respective fiscal agent authorized officials. So upon receiving proper access, reporters may view and enter information regarding programs, courses, and students specific to that building. And when we get into our demo in just a little bit, we're going to show the example of a building reporter screen in CTEIS and the buildings that they have access to. This here is a timeline, again, just for your convenience, and it basically just break down. This is a timeline of CTEIS reports, who completes the expenditure reports, who completes the fall data entry and enrollment, what the purpose is, the follow-up, and then finally the enrollment and completion report. So if you want to take a look at that, it kind of breaks down what the purpose is and who completes it. Again, I stated a little bit earlier, my login for CTEIS, you have to have my login access to access CTEIS. So if you have not received that, you can log in, you can sign up by going to my login for third party. The address is here. You would fill out the information here using your personal information. And then after you have completed the profile, you would need to request access from your level 5 fiscal agent. So you would contact your level 5 with your user ID so that your information can be linked in the system. And then you would go on to step 2, once you get that information squared away, and request access. After you request access, it will give you a notification that your request is being processed. So again, you do need my login for third-party credentials to access CTEIS. This is just a link further explaining the knowledge base. I've already went over that, but it's just additional information breaking down what's here. This here is a current due date document. This is, again, just mirroring the dates that we received directly from OCTE and the OCTE calendar. So this is just here for your convenience while you're in the support.ctis site. Okay, so now that we have all of our introduction material covered, we're going to go into how we verify and input our data. I'm not going to go over all of the topics here because, again, for the fall data entry collection, you only need your course and staff information. So I'm going to briefly touch on manage students, manage enrollments, just to show that the documents are here as time go on within the year. If you want to start getting ahead and inputting that information as you're able, you can do that. And these documents are available at any time. So this is available for you to start working now. But we're going to focus on our fall enrollment task for this training. So we're going to go into our overview. Okay, so this is a document that gives us an overview of the fall enrollment task. So as it states here, in preparation of the spring enrollment report, you are strongly encouraged to begin your data collection early as possible in the school year. So what you want to do is you want to start collecting that information. You want to obtain instructional design of courses. So your teachers and if you're a building reporter and you have a building reporter role, your teachers and CTE administrators would finalize the program instructional designs for each program and course. They would give this information to you. We also have templates available. We have a Perkins 4 and a Perkins 5 instructional design template. I can show you where those are when we get into our demonstration. But they're here on the CTEIS knowledge base, but they would give you the instructional design of courses. Once you have all of that course information, number 2, you're going to enter those courses for the upcoming school year. That process consists of renewing previous year's courses for the current year. If you need to add new courses for the given year, deactivate courses that will not be used again, or you can use the import tool for importing courses. And we have import templates that I will also show during our demo. You want to be sure to enter in the correct segments or competencies for each course and segment. You want to add new staff if necessary and assign them to courses. And then, as I stated, begin adding enrollments as able. So again, the enrollments as well as student information is not required for this upcoming fall collection, but you can begin working on that as soon as you're able. You want to submit your fall course and staff collection to the CPED administrator by October 12th, and then the CPED administrators will submit that information to OCTE by October 19th. Again, required for this fall collection is courses as staff, as much as you know. That information can be changed throughout the year. So if you just get that course information in and you have to make adjustments as you go out throughout the year, you can do that. Not required to be completed at this time is segment and competency profiles, your final staff assignments, enrollments, work-based learning, and credentials. Those are not due for this collection period. This next section of material is best practices for data entry. We really encourage to make sure that you verify your information. Your course and student data may be entered manually using CTEIS screens, and I'm going to demonstrate a manual entry of course information. But also you can, as I stated, going forward, manage courses, manage students, and manage enrollment can all be manual or imported. Utilizing the import feature is highly recommended because it can save you time and it will minimize data entry errors. So if you have all of that information in your import, your Excel import, you can then just import that information into the system. As I stated, once you enter that information into the system, it generates reports that you can use for your data review. It's important to review your data, and that can be done with the validation and reporting tools. It says that these reports and tools allow you to quickly verify data entries and ensure that your information is complete and accurate. So what I would like to point out is that when you're entering in your course and your course information, your enrollments as time goes on, you want to make sure that information is correct from your CTE administrators and your teachers. What CTEIS does, as far as if you receive an error in CTEIS, when we run the validation, we'll do a demonstration of that. That is checking for systematic errors. So those errors that are wrong within the system. Actual data entry errors, that's what CTEIS checks for. But the actual errors that you may have from your courses, you want to make sure that you review that information as much as possible, because that's coming directly from your CTE administrators or your teachers. So CTEIS can't check if the course information is correct. We just only can run a check if the data is entered in incorrectly. So you want to make sure that you practice good data entry techniques, develop a technique, and keep that technique for all of the collection periods. And as I stated, this is just reiterating mistakes can reduce student advancement within your programs. So to prevent this, you are required to review your instructional design, the available summary reports, and individuals who provide you that information. So review that information with them. So in taking with the fall task overview, as I stated, the courses is one of the items that is required for this fall data entry. And this document here is actually the managed courses document in its entirety. So this is something that you would use going forward, even to import or input data outside of this collection period. So it has a lot of information in it. I'm not going to go over all of the topics here, but what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of highlight, just so you know where the resource information is if you need to come back and look at this. Again, I'm going to do a demo of all of this, but this first section outlines the importance of course sections and segments. So this here shows the categories for student advancement for reporting, and then the categories of student advancement for funding. So if you see enrollee, participant, concentrator, or completer, this here is how that breaks up and how it identifies as how an enrollee is identified. So if a student has completed with a 2.0 or above, less than 4 segments of an enrolled CTE program, and then less than 1 PCC for a Perkins course competency. So for a Perkins 4, it's less than 4 segments. For Perkins 5, it's less than 1 PCC. So that goes so on and so forth for participants, for concentrators, and completers. But again, student information is not due for this particular collection period, but this information is here. The next section identifies or breaks down the course sections and subsections. So we're going to go a little bit over this. So you define a course section according to its zip code. I stated that a little bit earlier. The program type, whether it's regular, EMC, the time of year, whether it's in the fall or the first semester, the time of day, the instructor, and then the content. The content relates to the segments and competencies. Now I'll go back and highlight the subsections. Some subsections allow districts to report different instructions, whether it's segments or different sets of students within the same class. So if you have a group of first year students into subsection A of a construction of a class and then assign second year students into subsection B for the same class, that's how you would divide up that information. So as you get your instructional designs, you want to make aware that you're entering in all of that information, or you have that information, including in the information that you're getting from your CTE administrators or your teachers. So you just want to verify that all of these components are in there. Speaking of instructional designs, we have templates for Perkins 4 instructional designs. And this is a breakdown of an instructional design form for a Perkins 4 course that still uses segments. We do have some that are still out there that uses segments. I'm just going to try to navigate to show you where that instructional design form is. So we're back to our home page here. We're going to go into enrollment. So this first tab here. If you go over here in special collections, you will see that there's Perkins 4 instructional design and then Perkins 5 competency instructional designs. Now the Perkins 5 is broken up by program here. So you want to, this is an Excel export. But this one here is an actual paper copy. And it looks like this. So this is if you would use segments. So all of this information can be filled out by the teacher or CTE administrator, and they would give it to the building reporter. So these are here if you need it. If you already have it, great. So that's for a Perkins 4. And we'll go back into our presentation here. I was in the managed courses, and we were talking about Perkins 4. This is just a link that would get you there faster if you want to do that within the document. So I showed you where the Perkins 4 is, as well as the Perkins 5. And then these, the next couple of sections here identify how to open the managed courses page, how to manually enter in new courses. Again, I'm going to go through this information in the demo, but it's step-by-step instructions here on this document if you need to refer back to it. This next section here is the explanation of the segment and competency profile panels. You're going to see these when you get into the application. So here you're going to, it contains a series of empty check boxes that correspond to the segments and competencies a course may grant to enrolled students. So there's an example here. So this is a segment profile, which means that this is a Perkins 4 course. I can use the first column, the A column, to enter in all of this segments. And then the same would apply if this was a Perkins 5, it would be the competency profile. I kind of went over the information as far as the CSC earlier when we did our graphical description. So the CSC is the course section code. As we get into it, it describes everything that's in the course information panel. So all of this information here is available. Same for the course section period, the room number. All of this is the CTEIS screens. Again, the information regarding the segment profile panel, if it's a Perkins 4 course, how you would break up that information in this segment profile. And then if you scroll down, it would be the Perkins 5, which uses competencies. This information is if you have special cases, which is the family studies, FCS courses. If it says if you need assistance inputting the FCS, if that applies to you, it may not apply to everyone. Please contact the help desk if you need assistance, technical assistance with that. This next section is the dual enrollment in early middle college. You'll see this in the application. So you can select whether the class would have high school or college credits or early middle college. How to search for courses is next, and then how to edit courses, copy course information, determine a course status, how to deactivate a course. Again, we're going to go through this in just a second. And then how to add staff to courses. So this is step-by-step instructions. This is a very useful guide that will help you if you need help or if you find yourself in any trouble once you're in the actual application, just come back to this document. So this here shows how to import courses. If you're not going to be doing your inputs manually, you can import. As we stated, we have import templates that you can fill out or have filled out and import that information into the system. And then finally, how to review your course data once that information is in the system. And this is just another link to reference documents that state all of the reports that are available. So this is the managed courses document. Again, it has all of the information that you need in it going forward, not only for the fall data entry, but just in general. The next bit of information here is the managed staff screens. This is a reference document outlining what the managed staff screen kind of looks like and the capabilities that it has. It also goes over if you need to add a staff member to the CTEIS database, it gives step-by-step instructions on how to enter in that information. But again, I'll show these screens in just a moment. If you need to do that, if you need that information, it is available. So going forward, again, manage students, manage enrollments, and migrant students. This information is here for you to use. I guess I can't state enough, it's not required for this upcoming collection in October, but you may want to get a head start or on entering in your information as you're able to do so. So these reference documents are available for you to look over. This more in depth is it's covered in our spring training courses that take place March through April. So we'll go through and demonstrate how to do manage students, manage enrollments, as well as cover migrant student information if that applies to you. But if you want to go over it now, these are the reference documents. And then this here is a link to training videos. So you can click this icon and you'll be linked to training videos on how to do that. The same for work-based learning and credentials. You can link this here or click this link and it will link you to. Once you have verified and input your data, the process is to collect the data, whether that be from a CTE administrator or a teacher, verify the data, make sure that the data has all of the components, that it's accurate. You're going to input that data and then complete and submit reports. So that is the process. You have to validate. That's right up in here, complete and submit reports. So this is a document that outlines how to submit your data. So specifically for the fall course submission, submission, this is how the screens would look when you run the validation. So this gives step-by-step instructions on how to use that screen. Again, I will demonstrate this. And then this breaks down here, the fiscal agent authorized official, their process, and also the CPID admin. It just gives a little bit of information of what they would do once they get the information from the building and reporter. Again, reviewing your reports. Viewing your reports will run the validation. If there are errors, you need to address errors because, again, that's systematic. It's something that's entered in incorrectly. Warnings are warnings that appear that CTEIS would identify this doesn't look quite right, but if this is what you intended to put in, you can submit your report with warnings, but you cannot submit your report with errors. So you want to just be mindful of both. And then once you submit your report, I'll show the X in the completion screen, and the building status indicates that the building is complete. So we'll go through this process in just a few seconds. But this document is here. Again, CTEIS reports as you go forward. You may find that some of these reports are useful. So it outlines how to review your course data with the 3-year instructional design report export, just to make sure that your programs is performing or is accomplishing what they're designed to accomplish as far as completion for your students, as well as let's see, you have the courses by building report. So these are just a few from each segment. So that's how to review course data. We'll scroll down here, and then it'll show how to review student data and some suggestions on how to run checks. Again, the student information isn't due right now, but it's here for you going forward. And then how to review enrollment data. So class student list report, the program enrollment history report. So all of this will be useful. And then how to print the reports. So this is available once that information, that data is in the system. Or if you want to review past year's data, that information is available as well. This last section here is just, again, another link to the same training videos that are here. We're just trying to put it in multiple places for your convenience. So it's all the same videos if you use this link. And this here is the training agenda that I covered a little bit earlier in the training session. So you can go back and review that if needed. And then the training webinar, we are recording the training sessions, and all of the training sessions are posted within its specific categories. So Fall Data Entry Training webinar link will be here. That will link you to the webinar. So this is the whole fall enrollment task page, all of the information that we feel useful for you to complete your fall data entry. I'm going to go into our demonstration now. So I'm going to change my screen. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so this is our training site. This is train.cetis.com. This actual homepage, it mirrors the actual CETIS application. I'll show you what CETIS actually, this is what the actual application looks like. But this training site is set up for our training purposes, and it mirrors what you would see on the actual application. So the information that I put into this site is not reflective of any of the information that you all have. It's just an example, so it doesn't mess up your actual data. So if you do want to practice, or if you want to review certain techniques, you can also utilize this site by going to train.cetis.com, using your My Login credentials, and you can also demonstrate some of the techniques without actually impacting your data. But this is the home page. Just has announcements, upcoming collection periods, upcoming training events. So all of this information is here again for your convenience. These links here will link you back to the knowledge base. Most of the material that I covered, that will be found here, like for instance, enrollment. If you want to go to the training module to sign up for training, you could utilize this link. CETIS reports, again, it will link to the reports website, and then follow up, and then general information. So imports, fiscal, and CPID documents are here in the general. On the side here to the far right, this is all of the dates that we stated earlier in training. Again, just a mirror of what is provided by OCTE, the official OCTE calendar. So we're going to go ahead and log in. So right here in the actual CETIS application, it should say my login using my login, but this one just says login because it's for training. I've been given the training credentials as a building reporter. So this is what you would see as a building reporter. So here I'm logged in. If you go over here, this should be your name. If you click this information is available. This would show the contact information for your CPID. So this one says that my CPID is CPID 18. Because this is a training site, it's not stated, but it would show my CPID's name, phone number, and email so that I can reach out to my CPID if needed. Same thing here. This is the 2 schools that I have access to as a building reporter. So it gives me the CPID contact information for the schools that I'm assigned to complete data for. So the buildings, and then the emails. So you can just access this information by clicking your name. And this will be useful, for instance, when you're submitting your data, your fiscal agent, CPID will attempt to contact your fiscal agent for you when you submit your collection reports. But it's also a good idea to reach out to them individually. So if you don't have that information, try looking at this district list to get that information to reach out to them. So that's available again for your convenience here. But we're going to go back to the home page and then data entry. So clicking on the data entry lets me know that as a building reporter, I have the enrollment access, I have follow-up access, and I have expenditure access. So when those collection periods roll around, I would have to input data for those two collections as well. So the first thing that we're going to do, this is all of the screens that I kind of went over briefly on our knowledge base homepage. So like manage students, manage enrollment, credentials, and work-based learning. I can enter in that information if you want to start working ahead after this collection period. You are more than welcome to do so. But we're going to go to manage courses today because that's what we're going to demonstrate. So the demonstration here, again, I have access to both the Birmingham Public Schools as well as Breckenridge. This is just a demo. So this information is available for me to use for demonstration purposes. So here you can see this is viewing all active courses. If you look over here in this column to the far right, it shows that all of the courses here are active. It indicated so by saying yes over here. If I want to include previous year courses, I can click this button here, and it then will give me courses that are not. So here it shows no. Okay, so when we're ready to go in and edit current classes, you can click this book icon, but right now the demonstration is going to be create new course. So when I click this, I'm going to select the building and I'm going to work in the Breckenridge and then select a program. Because of this demonstration purpose, this is the only program I have access to, which is a Perkins 4 program. So I'm going to click this. And then the bottom panel opens up. Again, this top panel is all of the courses that are already here. Some of them have already been renewed. See, you see the dates are different. The start dates and end dates are updated. They're renewed to the next year. But we're going to do a manual entry of a course. So here, the asterisks here indicate the information that I need to enter in. So I need a course section code. I need a local course name, a start date, an end date, a semester type. A room number is optional. It's not needed for entry into the system, but this may be useful for you. So putting your room number here and then your course section period. As you can see here, it has a room number column here as well as an hour. So it identifies that course a little bit more easier for you if you enter in that information. Virtual delivery mode. This is required. You have to indicate whether it's not virtual, if it's only an online course, if it's blended or digital. You need to indicate that because the asterisk is there. And then we need to select the appropriate course type. Again, as I stated, secondary CTE course or post-secondary CTE course provides dual enrollment. So you need to indicate there. This information over here on the side, this here is the program. This is the program is agricultural operations and related sciences. So this is again a regular course, a Perkins 4. This is the program that I selected. So once I enter in this information, this is the program that is linked to the fiscal agency, the operating agency, and the building. If we scroll down, we see the segment profile. I can select the segments here. So this is A, B, C, D. I can select this here. This down here is segment Q if this is an advanced course. If that's what your instructional design gives you, again, that information is provided by your CTE instructor or your teachers. So then you would just plug that information in here. When you're ready to select the staff type, you can do additional, or the other options are available: primary, secondary full-time, or secondary part-time. You need to enter in that information, or you can actually type within this field to search for a staff. You can also enter in PIC numbers. I'll show you where you can get that information. So if you have a PIC number, you can enter in that information, the last name, the staff type, male or female, and enter in that information to update staff to this particular course. Once you have entered in that information, you can then click the Add Course button. You'll get a success message from CTEIS, and then that course is added into the system. But for now, I'm going to cancel and return so that I can show you. We're going to go to data entry, and we're going to go to our manage staff page. So this here is all of the staff that's in the system. Again, my information here is obfuscated for the purposes of training. So this is not actual staff information. As you can see, the last names are kind of jumbled. So if you click the Apple icon, it pulls up a PIC number. So as I stated on that other screen, you can look up PIC numbers. If you need to edit staff information, you can do that by typing into the fields here. What's required is the PIC name, the first name, and the last name, the gender, and then update staff. So this is if you need to add certifications or notes, expiration dates, that information is available to do as well. So with this PIC number, because I selected a already existent staff account, it shows me that this PIC number is valid. So if you were to enter in, let's say, for instance, an invalid staff, I don't know if I have an example, it would show invalid, and then you would have an error message when you try to enter in an invalid staff PIC number into the course. So you want to make sure that you're entering in the valid, those that have a valid record. So we're going to go back to the managed courses. So we've demonstrated how to, I've taken you through the screens on how to enter in manually. You can enter in your courses manually if you feel that that fits your course load. So again, by clicking create new course, selecting the building, the program, and then filling out the information here in the panels, you can do that for all of the courses if you need to add a new course. This information here is helpful because I can go in and make adjustments here within, this is a manual update of a course. So let's say, for instance, this is a zoology course. As I stated, some of this have been renewed for my demonstration purposes. So this one is renewed to 2024. So this is a second semester course, has the room number and the period. It's not virtual. I have my staff attached to it. And then my segment profile is filled out here in the first column. So if I need to change this information, I can do that and update course. So this is how you would go in and update an already existing course. Or if I find that, hey, we're not going to use this course, I can deactivate this course. Now, if I wanted to copy course, you may find that this tool is available so that you don't have to fill in all of this information again. You can copy the course information. Let's see. Let's get another example here. I'm going to select a record that's not currently active. So this one is here. So as you can see, this course is inactive. I can copy the course and then adjust the information in the panels as needed. So I can go in and change this information and then add course. But if I use the copy course feature, I want to make sure that I go back in and deactivate if I make any changes, because only one course can be tied to a course section code, which is the CSC. So you may not find that that's useful. This again is a manual option. This is completely up to you whether this system works or not, but this is just a feature that's available. But I'm not going to do anything for this demonstration, so I'm going to cancel and return so that it doesn't save that copy course. And now it's still there, but it's not copied. It's still inactive. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate an import, because as we stated, we strongly suggest importing courses. So you go to the import courses. Once you go to data entry, you select import courses. You're going to select the building. And this is where our templates come in handy. I'm going to go back to show you where the templates are. So we're going back to our knowledge base. And this is the home page where we were on our knowledge base. I'm going to go to the home page here. And I'm just going to use this to select imports. So the importing courses guide is here. If you specifically want to, it is in the managed courses guide, but this is just another quick reference to show you how to import courses. And then this here is the file formats for importing courses. So if you need a template, clicking that link will lead you to this Excel template. So there are instructions here on how to set up your course templates. And there's Perkins 4 course examples. So you can set up your courses using the Perkins 4 template, which still uses segments. So we see all of the segments are here for this particular courses. So like for welding course 1, the beginning and end date, the PIC number, that's the staff number. And then it has all of these segments that the welding course 1 would offer. And then the welding course 2, it shows all of the segments that the welding course 2 would offer. And then we have the advanced course, the welding course Q, which is, again, a Perkins 4. And then it has the Q segment there. These two examples, this is example 1, example 2, and example 3. This is just your preference, example 2 and 3. You can flush left, which means your segments are stacked, or you can do a combination of both depending on your courses here. You can spread your segments out or stack them. This is your preference for this template. The same applies for a Perkins 5, which uses competencies. As you see here, this is the competency information for the Cosmo course 1. It's all spread out here. Cosmo course 2 starts here with the competencies indicated here. Again, example 2 and 3 are just examples of your preference. The import templates can use both Perkins 4 and Perkins 5. So if you want to combine Perkins 4 courses and Perkins 5 in your import, you can do that. And this is an example of that. So it shows both the segments and the competencies for the courses. And then this here is the actual template. So you can download this and then enter in and plug in your CSC, your program serial number, the course name, the room, the hour, beginning and end date. You need your staff, and then enter in your segments or competencies as able. If you don't have anything entered into your import, say for instance, at this time, you don't have it for whatever reason, you don't have the segments and competencies. Again, it's not necessarily due for the collection, but you may feel that you have it and you're going to, you want to input that information in. If you don't input it in, it'll default to one, both segment and competency. So CTEIS will default it if it's nothing in here. So if you have that information, you may find it useful to just enter it in. So then it's in the system. And then if you need to change or make adjustments, you can do that. But if you don't enter in anything, it will default. Okay, so we're going to go back so that I can input mine or import mine. So we're back to the importing screen, and we're going to select import course file. I'm then going to be given the option to select my import file from my desktop here. So I'm going to pull up that document. So I have already utilized the importing template, and I've plugged in my course information. And I've only, for this demonstration, it is 2 courses that we're importing. And as you can see, according to the key over here, if you look over to the far right, it says add, update, or renew. So CTEIS has recognized that one of my courses is an add and one of my courses is a renew. So the CTE administrator or teacher that gave me this information, the CSC as well as the PSN, the name, the room number, the hour, the beginning and end date, and then the PIC number is to the actual staff. CTEIS recognized that this is a course that's in the system and we're going to renew it to the next year, or we're going to add this new course with the start and end date here. So if all of this looks correct and I want to import this information, I can select upload. If this was wrong, if there was anything, let's say, for instance, if I imported this into the wrong building, let's change building here. So let's say we pick the wrong building just as a demonstration. I'm entering in this information. It's giving me the errors, invalid program, because this is the wrong building. And CTEIS does not recognize this program within this building. So then I would have to remove the file, and this would work for any errors that would occur if it's the wrong CSC, if it's the wrong PSN, so on and so forth. I would have to remove the file, correct the file offline. That means I would have to go into my Excel file and make the corrections and then upload the file again. So we're going to go back and do the correct building and select my file again. And then it's here. And this is just a small demonstration to show you how this process works. Some of you may have larger caseloads, and the process works the same way. It's just, of course, a little bit more work. But then we would just upload. And as you see over here in the corner, I have 2 messages updated over here, course updated from CTEIS. And it shows me here courses updated too. So if I was to go back into manage courses, I can locate that information and make edits as time goes on. Um, so I would select the Breckenridge because that's the district that I selected for my imports. And then I would just go through here and locate the course. And then I can just click the book icon and make adjustments to the course as needed here. Then update course. If you find that you're not going to do a manual entry of a course, or if you're not going to import your courses, you may want to do a renew. So this would be if you have courses that are already in the system and you're just going to do a mass course renew for the next year. So I would select my district again, and I would go through and select the courses. So this panel here to the left are all courses that need to be renewed. This section here to the right are all courses that have already been renewed. So I can just go through and select and then hit the renew selected courses here, and it will update that to the next year. So I get a success message and that course is now updated. So I can do that for as many courses as I need to. I can select multiple records. It doesn't have to be one at a time. I can go in and select multiple, hit the renew selected courses, and it'll just do it for me. That's if you're not changing any of the information. You're keeping the course information the same, and you're just needing to renew for dates. That this tool will be really useful. Okay. So if you there's a question in the chat. If you renew some but not all of the courses on the left, will the course that you didn't renew stay in the left column, and are they still active? As far as the active question, I have to double check on that, but they will, from my knowledge, I was informed by the programmers that they will stay here until you renew them to the left column. Okay. So believe that they are still active with the previous year dates. Right. So I guess in the managed courses, we would, as we stated, the active column, just to show you where you would see that information. So Breckenridge, and the active would be over here, but an example of the dates that are not renewed would be like this course right here, where the date is well, that's August, but let's say, for instance, the 22nd. So this is still an active course, but the date is not renewed. From my understanding, for the fall course collection, when you're adding and renewing courses, you, as stated, you need the one course per program. If you need to make changes to those courses throughout the course of the year, you can do that. But you just need to make sure that all of the courses that are going to be active for this year are included in the fall data entry. So you want to double check to make sure that you're covering all the courses. If you need to make adjustments to the courses as time goes on throughout the year, you can do that, but you do want to include all of the courses that you know are going to be running for the upcoming year. So we're going to go ahead and we've demonstrated how to manually enter your courses, how to import your courses. We've showed the manage staff feature in CTEIS where you can enter in staff information or update staff information, and then how to tie your staff to your courses. We showed how to input that staff information by selecting the PIC number and or obtaining the PIC number and entering in that information here. And then submitting that information. Well, we won't use this as an example, but if you need to update that course information or renew the course, you can do that. So we've shown all of those processes. Now we're going to show the actual submission. So when you select the data entry and go under enrollment, you go down to enrollment completion. Oh, wrong one. Okay, sorry about that. So this is the screen that you would use in the fall. In the spring. That's why I got a little confused. I do apologize. This is showing that all of these um buildings have already been completed. So as the building level reporter, the fiscal agent, and the CPIT, and then OCTE. So this is a good example of showing a completed building. I cannot make any adjustments to this. So this is what was done back in the spring. But what we want to pick today is building course review. I'm sorry. Yeah. And then we want to select the Breckenridge Community Schools, and then we're going to select view. Okay, so now this shows all of the courses that I have within the Breckenridge Community Schools, Breckenridge High School. I have all of the information in here. As we can see here, I have, it shows that I can complete this building. So as a building level reporter, I can now, if I have entered in all of the information that was given to me and I'm ready to submit, I would hit this complete button and that information will then be sent to the fiscal agent. If I want to review before I complete this information, if I want to use an export, meaning that this CTEIS will generate an Excel export for me where it'll cover all of this information that's on this screen, and I can review the details offline, I can use that export button and it'll generate a report so I can keep for my records. But if I'm ready to submit, I can then just submit here. So now it shows that I have submitted the course and the building status has an X in it as the building reporter column. So now that information has been sent to the fiscal agent. And again, CTEIS will attempt to email the fiscal agent that information, but I can also reach out to the fiscal agent myself and let them know that I've submitted that information. So at this point, for this particular fall collection, if you have entered in your staff, your courses of the active courses that you're going to be using going forward, you have completed your task as the building reporter for this CPIT entry. I'm sorry, for this CTEIS entry. Excuse me. I'm going to show now the example of a fiscal agent. So I'm going to log out as the building reporter, and I'm going to log back in as a fiscal agent and CPIT admin because I've been given that. Well, at least I thought I was. 1 second, let me look at this. Go back to our building course review. And as you can see here, the building status, it has an X in it as the building reporter. The same information would be available for the fiscal agent. As a fiscal agent, I can go in, I can view the report, and then I can complete, just as we did the demonstration with the building reporter, and then again for the CPIT. So if I have fiscal agent access, I would come in as a fiscal agent and view the report and submit it to the CPIT. So that's the demonstration that we were going to show, but you can see it here as the building status. Once the building has been sent up to both the fiscal and the CPIT, it would an X would appear in both sections here. So then that would be the completion of the fall data entry submission. Again, as you continue to get the information, please input that information into the system utilizing the CTEIS screens, the manage students, the manage enrollment. As you get that information going forward, it's working towards the spring enrollment where all of that information would be due. So we would encourage you to, as you get that information going forward, to put it in as soon as possible. Correct. As the fiscal agent, your permissions would look, it would be identified here, and then you would just go under an enrollment completion. I will go to a document that will show you that. 1 second. So to get to this as a fiscal agent, what you would do is go to our, this reference document is available on our knowledge base at support.cteis.com. What I did was go under the administrator tab and just went down to fiscal agent. And this is the documents that are available for the fiscal agent. Submission processes outline what you would do for running the validation as a fiscal agent, but you would select accordingly according to your fiscal agent monitoring access here and select the course review to then submit that information to the CPIT. Our fiscal agent training is the end of this month. Fiscal agent combined with CPIT admin, and we would go through these processes also. the end of this month in September. So if you're a fiscal agent or a CPID admin, you need to register for that training as well. But yes, this information is available under the administrator tab, and you can go to CPID or fiscal, and that information is there. So just to recap, as we begin to close out this training session, this information is available on the knowledge base support.ctis.com. If you go to data entry as a building reporter, select the enrollment tab, you can view all of the documentation that we went over in class this morning, as well as the agenda that I was just showing a few minutes ago, if you want to access that information. Once we upload the training webinar, that information will be available using this link. But all of the training videos are there, as well as submitting your data documentation. I mentioned data review. Again, as your information is input in the system, you may want to review your data. You can start doing that, or again, previous year's data. That information is available, and this document here is step-by-step information for you to review your data. But all of this information is available for, again, specifically for the fall task. Managed courses and managed staff is due to for building reporters due to your CPID administrator by October 12th, and then the CPID administrator submit to OCTE October 19th. The training tab here will take you to training videos as well as registration. Thank you, Diana. She put in the chat that the CPID admin fiscal agent training is September 27th. You can also get that information by clicking on the registration link here, and it shows all of the upcoming dates for the upcoming collections. Again, expenditures is the next collection that we are going to be training for after the CPID admin. CPID admin is down here at the bottom, fiscal agent, CPID admin. But expenditures and then follow up. So if you haven't registered for a training session, please don't forget to do that. You can also access our resources as far as our newsletters. When we put out newsletters in the fall as well as the spring, you can use these links, and it will link you to the newsletters that will update you on information regarding the CTEIS application or collection periods. We have different links that you can use as resources if you have questions. So please feel free to utilize this information. So at the end of the training here, as we close now, you're going to be prompted to fill out a training evaluation. You can also access the training evaluation by clicking this link under the training and registration info link. And it basically lets us know how our training sessions are going. We really value your comments and your thoughts on our training. So we would ask that you please fill that out. It really helps our training out. So again, once I end the meeting today, you will be prompted to fill out the survey, and that's when you can indicate that information on there. So I believe we can go ahead and close. Again, don't forget to fill out the survey. This concludes the information that we're covering for our fall data entry. Again, that information is due to your CPID administrator October 12th and then to OCTE October 19th. I'll just go back to the second page here just to reiterate. And then don't forget to sign up for the next training session, which is if you're a CPID admin, September 27th. And if you have completed all of the other trainings, you can go ahead and register for the expenditure training, which is October 3rd. It begins on October 3rd. So there are still dates available. So we're going to go ahead and end the training for today. We thank you for your time and attention. Thank you, Diana, for dropping the link in. Again, you'll be prompted to fill out a survey on our training evaluation link. So please don't forget to fill that out. And we thank you for your time and attention. We will see you in the next training. This concludes the training. We'll stay on to answer questions. So if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. We'll stay on for a few minutes. But if you are all set to go, you can go ahead and leave. And we thank you for your time.